really dislike the lighting out here. One light's okay, that one's kind of yellowish, but this one's just straight white light. I do not like that very much, but I should have recorded earlier when the sun was out. But, I know this is my first video on this channel. I'll leave introductions for another video, but I felt compelled today to record the first one, get it out there, because today is 1 year of semen retention. I just wanted to talk about it. Just give my experience for whoever wants to hear it, or is interested or thinking about starting, or they're somewhere along, they have a streak going, they're just thinking about it. So I took some notes because I thought it'd be helpful. So let's read off of them, or at least give me somewhere to start. All right. Write it down. Okay. Here it is. Okay. I'll go a little bit out of order, but the first thing is, things don't necessarily get easier. I would say, like urges and stuff, eventually it gets easier to not give in to those urges, and then, I mean, it's going to be so unique to everybody's situation. That's why you have to go live it for yourself. Like, I can give you what I think, what I experienced, but I mean, some people, maybe it's really easy to even start out with, and people it's really hard to start out with, but for me, it would kind of be sporadic. There would be 2 weeks, a month period where I felt like I was just being like attacked in a way, and your mind will do that. I mean, it's what it wants to do. It's trying to get you to do it, so I mean, it'll pull out all the stops to get you to go back to your ways, and that's what it would be like for me. I'd have surges. For a little bit, it would be really tough, but then for a month, a couple weeks, it would be manageable and nothing too crazy at all. But it always, I thought maybe after a certain threshold, maybe after 90 days, after 6 weeks, or 6 months, 9 months, 300 days, I was always like, okay, maybe now it's gonna get easier. And even now, as I'm at the year threshold, part of the mind wants to play that game. Okay, maybe it'll get easier, but that just sets you up for when it's, I mean, it's never gonna get like easier. Eventually, obviously, me compared to 1 day in, I'm more likely to not relapse now than I would have been 24 hours out. So, I mean, you get better at fighting the battle, is really what it is. I don't know if the battle gets easier, but you get more skilled at fighting it. And then the forces on the other side maybe stop committing as hard to their efforts, because they know you can fight the battle. But, I mean, it's just different. It's change. So it may not be as hard in that regard, but you're going to, so many other things are going to become harder, I'd say. And I don't want to make this sound like negative, but I know there's enough people on the platform, on the website, who, when they talk about semen retention, it's all these benefits. You're going to be manifesting things. Girls are going to be noticing you. You're going to be 1,000 times more productive, testosterone, this, that, and the other. And it's like, if you want to hear that, you can go listen to that. And I'm not saying none of it's not true, but I mean, there's enough people already saying that. I'll touch on it a little bit later. The very, not surface level, I don't want to say surface level, but just like the very, just basic pros, basic cons. But things will get harder because you're going to be forced to become aware of a lot of things. When you're emptying your tank of your life force and you're ejaculating every week, multiple times a week, some people every day, multiple times a day, I mean, you are you're emptying yourself, and you're always trying to just get back up to that level. And the second you get to that level, you go release, because it becomes too much. So, I mean, once you allow your tank to fill, and it starts overflowing, and it starts expanding, the balloon starts getting bigger, just other things will come up. You're not going to be able to distract yourself with that, because I feel like that's one of the easiest distractions, to go masturbate or go hook up with somebody. You can just, everything else goes blank, because that's the ultimate dopamine chase. If you can chase that, and then biologically, men, we go to sleep right after, so, or we get tired, and a lot of people, even me before, utilize it to go to sleep. So, I mean, it literally takes it out of you. It takes the life force out of you. You want to go to sleep, but you allow that life force in, you allow it to build upon itself, you're going to become aware of all your other habits. So you've quit PMO at this point, porn, masturbation, orgasm, and I only say the abbreviation because I didn't know what it meant when I first heard it, and I was trying to figure it out for like 3 months, and eventually I put it together. But you quit that stuff, I mean, you're gonna just gonna be forced to think about everything that you do, and that can be exhausting. But at the same time, that is the path. That's why you do it. You're doing this. You're signing up for a course in learning, a course for just burning through karma. You put everything on a little bit of a fast track, whatever you are on. And I've heard other people say that, like, semen retention itself isn't the path, but it speeds up whatever path you're on. And I would agree with that. I think semen retention's cool, but I don't think it can be the only thing you're doing. It's probably impossible to be the only thing you're doing, because if you don't really have anything else going on, you're just worried about not nutting. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's a recipe for success. I feel like you're gonna like nut eventually. I don't feel like it's gonna last very long. But you pair it with something else. You have drive, a connection to something else, a spiritual practice, a physical practice that is also spiritual in nature, because you can connect to it on that level, and you can practice your spirituality through that, and you pair it with semen retention. That's when real growth is happening. So I sidetracked a little bit. I was talking about change, right? Or yeah, talking about becoming aware of things. Been waffling around the topic a lot, but basically, you're gonna become aware of a lot of things you do, a lot of the time you spend, how you're spending it, how you feel. I was definitely like a big overeater, I would say. Like, I could just put down food. What's the word? Not sloth, a glutton. I was a glutton for sure. And I could just overeat and not even like worry about it. But I mean, at once I started semen retention, I'd say it took a while, actually. It took a lot of like burning up of energy to get here, but eventually at some point I started noticing like food is just another drug. Like, I can eat myself into just being dead energy, because it takes so much energy out of your digestive system to digest a bunch of food at once. You're eating really hard food to digest, and it gets hard. You become heavy, you become weighed down. And I think that's what I mean on aware. You become aware on like a physical gross level. Like, you're actually going to be able to feel more things. You're going to be knowing what's actually going on in your body, because you'll have to be. You're not constantly spasming your nervous system out by ejaculating, because that's really what it is. So to a level, your nervous system becomes more of a still pond, instead of like rocks being thrown into it and ripples being thrown all the time. It's more of a still water is the way I think about it. Not much movement or anything. So you can tell when things are happening. You can tell when rocks drop. Like, oh, there's a ripple over there. What's that from? It'll make you start a lot of things, stop a lot of things. It'll make you have to express more. I had to start writing once I started doing semen retention. I always wrote, but I had to start writing more, like writing daily, basically. And before, it was like a thing where I wanted to write a lot, but I just never really did. I'd write every couple weeks, maybe. And I wanted to. I really wanted it to be like part of my identity almost, but just something I did. I knew it was good. I knew I enjoyed it, but I got into, once you get going with semen retention, that energy has to be expressed. You have so much life force coming through, so much extra energy, it has to be put out other places, or else that's when relapse happen. So you have to start directing it in other ways, other avenues of energy. I've been on this topic for a while. Let me move on. Yeah, biggest thing is just the first. I don't know if it's the biggest thing, but the first thing I wrote down and like first thinking about like this video is just observe. Yeah, observe what happens, how you feel, the thoughts you have. Your thoughts are gonna be crazy. Your thoughts are gonna be crazy, especially. I can't speak for females. I just don't know, but for men, I mean, it's just we're built a certain way. So when you're not doing this, you're surpassing a certain level of instinct that it's just hard. Like, it's a thing. So you're going to have a lot of things come up at different points, a lot of thoughts, a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, and your mind's going to try to infiltrate its way into there and trick you into getting back somewhere else. But the mind is the instinct. The mind is the sexual instinct. So you have to be above that. You have to be aware of the thoughts you're having without necessarily, not aligning, but what's the word? Yeah, aligning with the thoughts, I would say, or even the emotions. Be aware of them. See them happening. Detach yourself for a second. Be like, okay, I'm having these thoughts. I'm having these emotions. You don't have to become so identified with them. I think that's the word I was looking for, identified with them. Just be aware that you're having the thoughts rather than be worried about the thoughts themselves. I saw a quote that said something like that one time. I really like that quote. Be more aware of the thoughts themselves instead of the thoughts themselves. Be aware of them. I didn't say that very well. But you're going to have to make room for silence because it's going to be loud. Your mind's going to be loud. A lot of things are going to be happening. Your nervous system's going to have more energy. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have to allow this loud vibration in your body to be heard. You're going to have to do the dirty work of listening to everything that comes up from it. And it keeps coming up more and more and more. If anything, it's just like what I was saying earlier. The battle doesn't get easier. You get better at fighting. I'd say you're never going to stop hearing from yourself, your soul, your body, everything you're listening to. You're just going to get better at listening to it. Your intuition is going to start taking over. You're going to start trusting that. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, those are the things. I'll go over like a little bit of the positives. Just like the gross level positives you're going to experience at the very beginning when it's also the hardest. So you're going to be worried about the first 2 weeks, first month. And I've done months before. Not months long, but months plural. Like I'd done a month 2 or 3 times before I ever did this. And those are hard, right? Like, it's hard in the beginning. So when it's hard is also when it's going to be like the best for like your benefits. You're going to be noticing like, oh, I feel really good. I'm productive. I'm sleeping really well. Girls are giving me more attention. If you're... It's also unique to your situation, but those are the things that kind of... That's stuff that happens. Clarity will happen. But in the early stages, there's going to be a lot of noise. A lot of good, a lot of bad, and you're going to notice all of it. So, that stuff will happen. Yeah, I mean... From here, a year, I mean, I don't really know what it's like to be on semen retention for a year. I have done it for a year, but I kind of have to, like, sit with it for a while. You know what I mean? Like, I'll never be able to truly reflect on this for a long time. When I'm in the moment, it's like, okay, I can try to give you an account of what it's been like, what it is like, but I'm in it, so... hard. I'm drinking, if you're wondering, I'll probably try to make it a thing where I'm drinking tea in all my videos. I think that's just a cool thing to do. Chamomile, skullcap, mullein leaf. There's 2 other things in there, peppermint and licorice root. So I like it. Tastes pretty good. Yeah, I like to look at it. This is the last thing I'll say probably before I go, unless I think of something else and I'll keep talking. But it can either be 1 year of semen retention or year 1 of semen retention, right? In your mind, it'll play once you get closer to this imaginary date. Because I remember even when I got to like 100 days, 200 days, 300 days, and every mark in between that, even months or whatever, when I get to a year, and not even like I was planning, like your mind will play with the idea, like, oh, on a year, we relapse, like, okay, it's been a year, like, I don't need to keep doing it, like, I know I'm not going to fall back into PMO or anything, I'm not going to, like, do that, like, I'm good, but, I mean, the mind will try to play silly games, so you're always going to be looking for some point, and, I mean, I'm here now, and it is the year, so, and it just gets closer and closer once you're at it, and I'm at the point where it's like even, I don't know, I'm young. Most people I see who talk about this stuff, they're older. I only really listen to one guy about any of this stuff. I really like his stuff. I listen to him a lot. He's one of the only real creators I listen to on the platform, but it's hard. He's older. He's lived life. He's at a completely different stage and point and everything, and I really appreciate his wisdom, but I'm not him. He's not me. We're not in the same, we're not the same point in life or anything, so it's hard. It's almost like, because I'm 20. I started when I was 19, freshly 19. Yeah, I've only been 20 for a month, so I was freshly 19 all the way till now. So, I mean, it's weird at this age, like, friends, you get to talking about it, and friends find out. It's just interesting. I mean, you think about 20-year-old guys, I mean, they're not having the most intelligent. It's hard, perspective. I think people gain it at different times. I just don't think they can always see where I'm coming from, so it can be hard to, like, talk about it with other people, but I'm almost, like, scared to release now, you know what I mean? Closing thoughts, just a couple, like, personal notes, but almost, like, scared, not, like, scared to release, but, like, you'll have a lot of, like, dreams. I didn't have any wet dreams. I had a lot of dreams, though, where you get you get close and you'll wake up and it'll be like, oh, what the hell? So, I mean, a lot of those, and that's the part that, like, not scares me, but, like, I'll have dreams and, like, subconsciously, like, even in my dreams, I won't allow myself to, like, do it. Like, I'll be in the dream, experiencing whatever I'm experiencing, and when it comes, like, to the point of, like, where a release is about to happen, like, some part of me just, like, locks it down. It's like, no. So, I'm grateful for it in those moments when it happens. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm glad I didn't release, but it's just, like, my body is, like, not releasing it. So, it's, it's interesting. But it's a very human thing to do this, because it's surpassing it is a very true way of being human, and a very true way of surpassing being human, because a human is partly animal. It has those animal instincts, but it is also partly more than animal, or else, we would be like every other animal. We wouldn't do what we do. So, it's a crazy game to play. But, yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching.